Howdy, howdy. Um, Sitting in the shed, while my shoulder's healing up hopefully quickly, I thought I'll tidy up some loose ends. So I pulled Dirty Ralph apart, and thought I'd show you why I think it didn't work and why I think I've fixed it now. So that's the crank that came with the piston cylinder before this cylinder. This cylinder here came with a piston but no crank. That's why I got cranky with that because the way it was. It's got a 10mm pin, gauging pin there instead of 8. Factory's 8. So I'll talk about that in a sec. So that's the piston. I dipped the piston just a bit there. Just a bit so I can add some timing numbers to it. But I don't think it worked because as the piston goes down in the cylinder, it pressurizes the sump and it loses some pressure. And these little saws, you change a little bit, you gain heaps or you lose heaps. So I'm not using that piston, but the cylinder's still fine. So I can use the cylinder again. Now, I'll get a torch to this. So you can see the intake there. So hard to get glasses. How to do it closest? Where's my other little torch? I'll use that torch then. Get it on. Get this one. Plenty of torches. Right. So if I go, I'll zoom in on that. Zoom in on that. It's a flat floor, so but it's very close to the pulse line. Very close indeed. So I thought maybe that's part of the problem. Not quite sure. I've done that close before. Not a problem, but maybe that's what caused not getting enough pulse or not enough fuel. So maybe, I don't know. So I'll get another torch. I've got another one. Fall up one. All these torches with so many B buttons. I want a torch you turn on off. Don't want these on, off, low, pulse, emergency. Oh, well, we go the way. So you can see it's got a bit of room, but you know it should have sealed without a problem. So I don't deem there to be a problem. Now adding the piston and all that, the lips of the piston, I've lunged or tonsiled the bottom down there, but you can't go too wide on these intakes because where the piston pins are, these piston pins, they go into the intake, and these rings actually drop down into the intake. So you can't go too stupid with them. If you do, you'll drop a ring. So you can't go berserk there. You can go a bit wide in the exhaust, but you can't really do that either. So exhaust, wrong way around. So it's starting to bend in, but the exhaust, it's not. I don't think it's really truly round. See the lumps and bumps, but it wasn't seating in. Wasn't happy. There wasn't enough compression. But the squish band down the bottom of this is slightly different to the ones and the other saw I'm working on. So where the spark plug is, it's slightly different. Not much, but slightly is all we're looking for. I've done the squish. They're both exactly the same as each other. So you can see that there. So I roughed up, took a bit out of the bottom of the saw, so it's got more atomized, but actually more room for air to go in and get compressed, but it wasn't getting the compression. So with the bottom of the saw, I put that back on. I grooved down the bottom where the bearing sits. And you can't do much, guys, because there's not much metal, so you can't go berserk. Otherwise, you'll pop straight through it. That feels about maybe 2.5, 3 mils, if that. but it spins quite hard, so you don't want to get berserk. Now, new cylinder, which I suspect is, I know this one here is Pharmatech. I know this is Pharmatech for sure. The other one I think might be Pharmatech, but it wasn't labelled, so I have no idea. I didn't buy it from Pharmatech. But I'll try and do face to face so you guys can see. Anyway, set this up. We go one there, like that. And the other one, which way up. So you guys might be able to see it. So that's the Swiss brand. So it looks pretty good. You can see it's roughly see a rough shape on it, but almost the same, just slightly different, only slight. So I'm hoping this will be better, but I've noticed in this Pharmatech one that the cross hatching on the bore, it's not cross hatched at all, it's basically round. So I don't know if that's on intent or purpose, I'm not sure. But I've adjusted the transfer chambers just a little bit. Now I blindly poured this because the clamshell, putting it on and off, it's a pain in the ass. So I know roughly what the numbers are, so I went back to that. It's what I knew roughly were. So what I've done with this one here, we see that. You see how I dipped down, so I kept well away from the pulse line. I grooved out the pulse line so it gets more fuel. So if you look down there, pulse line, it's flat. So the air has to go up for the pulse line beside the piston, and I deem that to be a restrictor. I really think that stops the carby getting the fuel it should. So hopefully that will fix that problem. So I've grooved that out, so hopefully it will come up on the TV. There you go. A slight bit of a groove. Now you got to be really careful, because if you go too far, I just nicked this one just a tiny little bit, but I didn't upset the way it seats or seals. So I've done the transfer chambers again, cleaned all of them out, just added a bit more. Added a groove, a trench on either side, just to add a bit more flow and direction, and gives more volume. Now the exhaust, just cleaned it up. Add a bit more blow down, because these don't have much blow down, and they're a high rev and little saw. So I just blind poured it on. I'll see what it looks like. But I thought I'd show you guys what they should look like. Blind poured. So look at your pulse line. Look where it's sitting. So you're not that far away from the actual pulse line. Focus. So you can see it's good, I don't know, 3 mils, 4 mils, but nowhere near the hole, so it should get full fuel. I dropped the left-hand side there so it gets more intake timing. Lunged it just a tiny bit, so I'm not interfering with the rings, so hopefully that won't cause a problem. But the exhaust should have changed it quite a bit, so I mucked around, but this is just a proof of concept. I want to know why I can't get this thing to spin. I got the factory one to spin, but I think it's got more compression. I really do. So I'm going to put it together. I'll show you guys how I put it together, because they are not exactly easy to put together. The way the ring's sitting here. So, and whilst it's raining today, I thought might as well do a video. It's not strenuous on my shoulder. It will hurt my shoulder, hold my arm up to do stuff. The majority of the time I'm standing up, so I'm not holding my arm up because I need to give it a break. But anyway, I'll clean this up and I'll show you how I'll put it together. Alright. Okay, so I've got 3 sheets of kitchen paper towel. I'm going to use them as soft jaws and put this in the vise only very, very gently, where as flat as you can, but don't try and pinch it down tight and then you'll break the fins and stuff, just so it doesn't move. So just gently as. But these you have to have the piston and ring going just square, otherwise I broke it on the factory one. So I'll grab the piston, rings I should say. I cleaned it all up. It's going to get it dry because I'll put oil in it after I put it together. So gotta make sure. So that's the flywheel side where the coil goes. So you gotta make sure your rings are where they should be sitting with the pins. So that bottom one there's moves. Turn them back around where it should be. And that one there, top one. Come on, move. I struggled with this last time I done with. I thought I'd show you how this goes. There we go, get it going. So put your piston in like that, straight up and down, and gently. Don't force it. You might have to use a screwdriver, maybe not. But you go straight down, 100% straight. Don't go crooked enough like that. Now I'm going to use a little screwdriver and just push the ring back into its groove. That side. Careful. So it doesn't want to go and don't fight it. So there you go. So now it's popped in. So simple as that. Don't try and force it. Go straight down. Guide the rings into where they should be. Once they're in, here's my view. So got we so JB Weld Ultimate Grey gasket maker still. So this one it's fuel safe. Oh, through that one I had away. So I'm gonna make a very thin smear in the whole lot, both sides. I don't care if I put too much in there, but I had a lot of trouble pulling the saw apart when I went to re-pour it. So it does work, it's good stuff. So I'll hold that out of the road. What I should have done was put some glue with the seals go. I should be able to reach one side. So I'll put this glue down where I can reach it. This whole thing at the end of the road. I put some glue where the seal goes. The sealant. Because I don't want this leaking. I'm trying to leave too much where the bearings and stuff are, because you don't want bearings, you want on the sealing area. I've already wire brushed this up, cleaned it. So I've keyed in where it should sit. Cleaned both the seals again. So I'll slide it down. Make sure the bearings go in the holes where they gotta go. And the seals are going to sit in the holes where they need to sit. So the flywheel one has to go tight into the body of the saw. The seal here has to go tight against the body. That's right there. Now put glue on this clamp part. This is something that you guys might know. I'll show you people who are new to these saws, and I'm new to these saws. I don't really play with these sort of small stills. I just thought everyone's got one, but can you make one perform? So far I'm pissed off about the air fill. Inside this clam was full of crap. The first time around, I put a new air filter on there. It's so crap inside of it. So it's got me worried. Like, you can't keep dirt out of the saw. The saw's not going to last. I don't care what saw you got. Not designed to suck sawdust and dust and everything else. With half this stuff I'm putting now will squeeze out, but I want to make sure it goes into every little nook and cranny. And there's a groove in this bottom of the cap for the glue to go into. So I need to fill that groove up just a bit. And it'll squeeze into the groove and become part of the gasket. This is where I showed my son filming this. As soon as you start, my wife popped in, scared the crap out of me. She's mucking around with chickens and stuff. So I've got glue on this here, the bottom of the clam. Now, the little part here, that lines up with the oil pump, which is away from the flywheel. So that goes that way, away from the flywheel. That holds the oil pump where it should be. What's more still on that thing? No, it should be right. I'll put that over the top like that. So now the seals are pushing back. Pushing back on the middle. Just make sure they're all sitting where they should be. I'm going to put seal on the these little bolts. Just a little bit. Make sure they sit down properly. But another way to make sure you seal it right. Because I don't want to leak in air. And it's cheap insurance, so you might as well. One of the mates said, you don't use seal, use gaskets. Well, I thought, well, why not use insurance if you can use it and it helps and it sort of almost guarantees you won't have a leak? Why not? Why use a gasket when you can put the seal in there? Well, I know it's not going to leak. It won't cause a problem at all. So I'll tighten this down, just one at a time, just so it's going screwing in, because you don't want any cross threading right now. You'll start feeling it pull down. And I hope this makes it go, because I made a good muffler, all that should work, but it doesn't have the compression. So let's nip that one. So all the glue will start moving. Nipped up. I'll go around and do them more tight. So that's nipped. I had to keep my wife out. I said, I've got glue, darling, I've got to go. But she won't talk. It doesn't always work that way. Not when you've got glue going off. So I always try and tighten them opposite each other. So I'll come down here with you guys at the table. Alright, so let's make sure it's all tightened up. I want these to be fairly tight too, because it's going straight to aluminium. No plastic. And you don't want it coming undone. Because I can't hang on to it, because it's a bit tight, I might actually put the chain on and gently. So it's a 4mm. I'll put it in number 1, so it's not hard. I'll do a quick blast of 2 on every one. Make sure it goes in. Because I've had it, you don't push your Allen key in, you're in trouble. Right, there you go. So that's back together. Now I'll put the 2-stroke all down the guts of that once I do the timing. To show you how hard that glue goes off, I couldn't get it apart. So I used a rubber mallet and tapped just here and snapped the cooling funnel. It did not want to let go. So it's tight stuff. Now, what I do with these little saws, big saws, yeah, you got room. Little saws, you got no room. So if I want to polish the exhaust, I've got a stainless steel. We call them split pins, but across the seas they call them collar pins. Well, it depends on where you come from, I suppose. But being stainless steel, it goes inside the chuck for the Chinese copy. Goes in this chuck, so I can actually polish. So I'll put that in there, put a bit of 180 grit, feed it through, like so. Well, usually a longer strip of paper than that, about 6 inches, and it'll spin up that way. And I can put that in the hole and go to town, clean it right up, and change from 180 to 320, 400, 600, 800, and 1200. Finish it all off. But when I've done that, I then go to a felt tip like that and go around all the edges, make sure nothing's sharp, especially these little saws. Now I have tried a diamond colour I got for Christmas. I got one of these diamond wheels. It's a 5mm. Now, yeah, it might be good, but you can't do it in small saws. You just can't see your hand gets in the road, your fingers in the road. I've got fat fingers, so it's just so difficult. I could do it on certain spots, but certain spots you couldn't see what was going on. So that's how I finish it all off. I know, get a good bath, get a good wipe out, use brake cleaner, clean it all out, make sure it's all right. But with these little saws here, now it's all back together. I'll get this excess glue here to wipe my finger around, because that's not sealing, it's between the layers of the seal and the metal. It does the sealing work. Can't do it on that side, but anything sticking there, just get a quick wipe over the other road. So I'm going to put this saw back together, and I'm going to check out what the numbers end up being. See how she goes. So everything's back to front when you're trying to do a camera. So a nice arched hole. That should be good. So I'll pause you there and I'll put the rest of the saw back together. Okay, I'm going to start putting this thing back together. One thing I will note, this being a Pharmatech cylinder, which I know I bought as a cylinder and piston. I spoke about it before that the wrist pin was too small, too big for the conrod. The actual intake, where the boot goes over, is different. As you can see there. But, the one, this left hand one, that's Pharmatech. I'm not sure about this one here. Get me so confused now. Yeah, one left was Pharmatech, I know that. We bought that one as just a piston cylinder. This one was a no-name kit with piston, crank, all that. That the boot that goes on the intake fits differently. So it's a better fit, bloody better. So it's tighter. They clean that out. Dirt is not your friend. Which could be another problem. If it's getting an air leak where the carby goes on, it's not going to run right. I'll show you what I mean. It goes on there fairly firm. Go on there. That's firm. That's a tight fit. Like, fit the whole thing up like that. Now with the other one, let me get back on. This one here, no name. It's not what you call 100%. It's not a good fit. To prove a point, it still fits good, guys, but I wouldn't call it perfect. Now the Pharmatech one part I did notice, I will still that, when that goes on like that, intake, I'll get the hole on. When that goes on like that, retaining ring, it goes around it like that. This ring actually goes on tight. Where this one here was slightly loose. So just in that instant there, so it's a better fit and it's more free flowing in the intake. Buttons. There's no steps or lips. Should flow better. So you see the lip there, the step there. Because of the pulse line. But we'll do a timing and see what it looks like. Alright. I'll keep them back together, I'll get you back. Okay, got the motor back on where it should be, with bolt down. Now, if you're not a very patient person, I wouldn't recommend putting these back together. The intake boot in these is fiddly, but take your time, don't overpull them, but they're quite tough. But you can put a hole in them with your pliers, so be very gentle. A screwdriver, apply one through the top, gently push, I mean gentle. You don't want to break it. Now, you'll see that the ring that locks it all down goes against the bolts, so it's all tight, all fits together nice, but I sort of show that. Now, the 4 bolts that hold the cylinder down are slightly different than the rest. So, this one here's got a shoulder on the bolt there, no thread. It's other bolt in my right hand. It's got thread right up to the head. So the one with the shoulders, they hold the cylinder block down. I just sort of show that because you're not used to pulling cylinders apart. You gotta look for witness marks or just things that aren't normal. So I've got 4 bolts, so those 4 will do that. Right, I'll continue back with the bills. One other thing I should note, if you ever do one of these things, because they got a plastic base, they've got where's my plastic? Yes, there's my 12 volts. They've got metal dowels, or I suppose dowels, or they go through the plastic and the 4 bolts. Well, one of mine fell out on the floor. I didn't even know about it. So I tightened it down and the screw started going into the plastic, and I couldn't work out why it was sticking its head up above into where the muffler area sits, because the bolt spacer was gone. So have a look on the floor, you'll probably find them, but yeah, just keep an eye on them, because they're only sitting there by friction, and over time they vibrate out and get hot and all the rest of it. Something else to look for. Okay, so I've got basically back together as far as I need to go. So I'll point out a few tips that I usually have. Do what I do. I got this sitting on a box. It's a nail box. You go to a hardware shop, you buy 5, I think it's 5 kilos of nails. I put them kitty litter, dried up kitty litters, like a rock top one, some leftover cement, tiling, grout, all sorts of stuff, and with water, mix it up. Let it sit. Now it's a heavy duty block to sit stuff on. It's heavy, but I'm not going to knock it over. But I just put this thing back together. So we'll see. I haven't done the numbers yet. Where did I put my torch? Bloody hell. Alright, I got my torch. Now, the original one was 100 or 99 on the exhaust, and 81 on the intake, and 130 on the transfers. So I'll see what it does now. I'll just show you that's degree and zeroed out. So Charles Briscoe, I'd like to thank him for that idea. I used to pull on the dogs, but you work on saws out of plastic, so you should start taking bolts in and out of plastic. They wear out. So the idea of putting on the bolts, that's a good idea, mate. I like the way you think. You're very common sense sort of guy. So just like what you do. You have different ideas. So we're 27 on my. You've all seen this 100 times, but I'm sure I've got it right. Nice and gently, 27 again. So we know where times are. So piston stopper, I only use this for this only reason I've used this once before for a plastic one. They bent. I don't use them. I use rubber only the others years ago. So I'll use that for now. Now I'll do the intake. So I'll see what the intake does. See, probably guys can see that. So intake. So piston's going down. Go fully around. Piston's going back up. Just cracking there. Just there. So looking at 81, so that's a pretty good guess. But there's not much ego for that, so I would say about there. So I'd say more like 80. So yeah, I'll be happy with 80. So that's pretty good. So I'll show you guys that. Hopefully I get camera over there. That's 80. Hope that comes on the camera. A little bit more. See the gap. See the gap just slightly. So just moving that, it's gone back to 78. So I gave it 80. About there. So we about 80 and a half. So I'll write down. Yeah, I'll write down 80 and a half. It's more like 81, but so more of a precise on the I'll say 80 because we're only going halfway across that cylinder. So 80. And that could be less than that, so 79 probably. The intake. Or you gotta write your stuff down. So I'll say 80 and put a question mark. Because it's probably more like 78 by the time you try and do all that stuff. But I just want to know roughly what it is. Because this thing performs. I'm doing it so you guys can do the same thing. Because apparently in America they have a section where you race these particular saws. I didn't know that. I don't race in Australia because they would do it around here. Now, the first ray of light. Let's see what the exhaust is doing. Gotta find the where it comes popping through first. So we're sitting about 90, hang on, 90, I'd say, 90. Yeah, so I'll go 90s because we go a bit more, yeah, so I'd say 90. So that's heaps of, that should perform. It should perform like crazy, really. But I don't know yet, so we'll see. But anyway, I thought I'd show you that, guys. If it works good. If it don't, it don't. So, but I'll soon find out. I didn't take much off the roof, but as far as I can work out. So I work out all my bloody and stuff, but it should be the same. It was 134, so 130. Wow, there should be quite a bit of blood in. So 130, do 3, close to 40 degrees. I think that's right. I'll have to look at the transfers, but that's what it's going to run. See what it does with the new all the muffler mod and all that crap. If it performs, it'll be good. If it don't, oh well, bad luck. I'm not going to pull this thing apart again. I'll get it running the best I can and I'll sell it because too many stores here. My wife wants me to get rid of some stuff so I can pay bills. And now I can't do much at the moment because my shoulder is taking more. New food, I took some Panadols and it's a pain in the ass. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Okay, so you can see it's all back together again now. I decided to check the numbers again and looked at a different way. I put the torch up through the exhaust and look for the spark plug to see first full rate of light, because being there's no oil in the cylinder, there's no meniscus to actually impede the light, so you can see shadows come up the side. It's hard to tell. But factory, they're meant to be 100 degrees on the exhaust and 130 on the transfer, so that's 30 degrees timing. The other big ball was 99, so that was 31 degrees, and mine is 97, so I've got 33 degrees by there. So 80 degrees on intake. So hopefully it will go good. Right, guys, thanks for watching.